Hello subscribers and non-subscribers, and welcome to another channel update video. This one, the game in the background is Day of Infamy, a new game that recently went into early access on Steam, although granted they had a closed alpha before that some people were invited into. I managed to get a key, but I didn't get the chance to really play much because, well, for one thing, anytime I went to go and play, there was never anybody online. So yeah, I didn't really get to play the closed alpha at all for the most part. But this is as I said, channel update. This one is for August, to let you guys know, generally speaking, what's going to be happening on the channel in August. So the first thing I want to go and mention is that since I finished the Dawn of War, or Dawn of War 1 series, I now have a free opening. However, I already know what's going to be replacing it because about a month ago I had voting set up for people to go and select who we would be playing as. So for those of you guys that were subscribed to me about a year ago, I ended up needing to cancel a series for Empire Total War. It was a mod that brought the game into the Civil War era. But I ended up needing to cancel that series because when I updated to Windows 10, roughly a year ago from today, the game broke, essentially. It just would not work. It either would not launch, which I think was the case, or it would crash anytime I tried to load any save. So I think essentially updating to Windows 10 back then broke it, and I wasn't going to go and bother reverting back to Windows 7 and probably still have it not work. So I canceled the series and said that I would return to it once I built a new PC and had an opening. Well, I have an opening and I built a new PC a couple of months ago. And so now we are back. So the voting that I had, only 3 people voted, and they all voted for us to play as the Confederates. And so that is who we are going to be playing as now. The series will probably be starting, I'm figuring, roughly around August 23rd. The reason being that I am going to be away for pretty much the entire week of August the 14th. And I don't really want to start the series and then not have anything for a week and then return to it. So I'm not going to start it until August 23rd is my plan. But yeah, on to the next subject. I have my Patreon. It is still there for anybody that wishes to become a patron. It is a method of allowing you, or it is a method for you guys to be able to go and support the channel on a regular monthly basis with whatever it is that you wish to, however much you wish to pledge on a monthly basis. So you can put whatever amount you want, although I have the minimum reward set to $1, but you can go ahead and pledge for less than $1 if you want. You won't actually be charged until your pledge is equal to or greater than $1. So if you were to pledge, say, 25 cents a month, you won't be charged until the 4th month, because that is when your pledge would equal $1. But yeah, so that's still there. I've changed around a little bit on the rewards and whatnot. Specifically, I changed the $10 tier, raised the price of it up to $15 a month. The reason being that that tier includes a poster for Vehicles of War Thunder, which is essentially just a poster with a picture of whatever vehicle is that I cover that month, and some specifications for said vehicle. However, those things cost, I think it was, I made a post about it. Try and find it. So it costs about $7 US for just one poster, and shipping them to me is about $5 US, and then I have to ship them to you guys, because that is the easiest method to go without having my bank possibly freak out and be like, whoa, 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 what's with all these small charges back to back? And so I ended up needing to... The method that works best for me is to bulk order them to myself and then ship them to you guys once they arrive. And I'll throw up some images in a little bit as to what these posters look like to give you an idea as to what you would be getting. And so, yeah, I ended up figuring that, at least to me, $15 a month was probably the best price. However, I do want to note that if I were to continue doing this on a regular basis, I could, in theory, at least, possibly lower the price if I were able to somehow negotiate a deal with Vistaprint, although that would rely on, again, me doing this on a regular enough basis, and possibly also partly my channel becoming large enough. So next thing, my spreadshirt, that is still there, and I think I figured out why there was probably no items actually showing up on the storefront. I didn't ever originally send any of the items to be approved for sale on the marketplace. Reason being is simply because I didn't realize you had to go and click the Add to Marketplace button, because nowhere does it explain that that was a requirement to have the items show up on the store page. So there are items there, and I'll have an image showing you one of the items. Most of them are phone cases. Specifically, they are phone cases that are referred to as Roma Invicta editions, in reference to the EU4 livestream series that I haven't been able to do a new livestream for in quite a while. Where we are attempting to essentially rebuild the Roman Empire. And that series is meant to be a prequel series to a Stellaris series that I plan to do after I finish that one. But yeah, so I'll throw up an image as to give you an idea as to some of the shirts that I designed, which I want to go ahead and mention first. The image that is used on the shirts, I did not originally make. I found it over on DeviantArt by somebody named Jeremiah Lambert Art, or that's the name of their account. And it was essentially a line art of a Vietnam War soldier. I thought the design looked quite nice. And give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I had spam calls, essentially, is the best way to refer to them, because that's all they are to me. But yeah, as I was saying, so I found essentially what was a line art of a Vietnam War soldier, and I thought it looked quite nice. So I decided to go, take it, color it in, and apply a cutout filter to make the soldier appear faceless, and throw a quote in from Aliens, which, for those of you guys that don't know, it is the, "Is this going to be a stand-up fight or another bug hunt?" I figured that quote actually worked quite nicely with the Vietnam War. 1 second. Those calls are really getting annoying, especially since now they want to leave voicemails. But yeah, so I went ahead and threw that up there. If you want to buy one of those shirts, they cost $15.49, obviously US dollars. If you live outside the US, shipping to get them within a week is very expensive, and while I would love to have a European store, it is unlikely to occur. At least right now. Simply because, honestly, I am too lazy to go and sit down and recreate all of these designs for a European store. Because I'd have to go to Spreadshirt.net, that's their European page, create a separate account, create a store, and then recreate all the designs. And while I only have 26 designs, honestly, that's something that I don't want to do unless people really want it. So if you really want that, let me know. Leave a comment letting me know if you want a European store. But if you don't really care when the item arrives, you can go with international regular shipping, I think is what they call it, which the price is going to vary depending on where you are. But to ship to Canada, it's about $5, and to ship to the UK, it's about $7 for international regular shipping. And so yeah, that's just the way that is. I got other things there. I've got frosted coffee mugs, or well, frosted beer mugs actually. But hey, you know, you could put coffee in it if you really want to. They got travel mugs, full color mugs, and things like that. Those all have my YouTube logo on them. Nothing too special, honestly. And if people buy them, I get a commission on the sales of them. And so, yeah. Of course, there's no requirement for you to buy any of those, but they are there for anybody that wants them. As I mentioned, I was going to be going on a trip the week of August 14th, so there will probably be no videos that week, more than likely, because I honestly will probably just forget to bother scheduling anything. Vehicles of War Thunder, I had planned to put it up that week. It probably won't happen because, well, frankly, I just haven't sat down and recorded the audio. And so it probably, as I said, probably won't end up being going up that week. And honestly, it may not even go up at the end of the month either. It may end up needing to wait until September to go up, which is not what I originally wanted to do, but it may be the case. So for those of you guys that were waiting for Vehicles of War Thunder episode 7, I think it is, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit longer simply because I just haven't sat down and recorded the audio. And I don't know if I'll actually have the time to sit down and record the audio to try and get it up this month. And so, yeah. That's pretty much all I really have to say for this video. The rest of the video goes until I think it's about 33 or so minutes. Oh, no, a little over 32 minutes. Do let me know if you guys like having that little 1 minute section at the beginning to, essentially it's a grab, try and grab people's attention to watch the video. Let me know if you like that, because I would like to go and try and incorporate it into more series, but I do want to mention it is something that takes time, because I have to go watch through the video, try and find something that I think is decent looking and throw it in there. Or split it, copy it, and drop it up front again. And if it's too long, then I have to try and find where I want to cut it out. So it takes a little bit of time to actually do those. For anyone that's wondering if Day of Infamy is a good game, it is Insurgency. It's by the same devs. It was originally a mod, but they decided to make it a standalone game. I think honestly the mod was probably just something done to try and see what people thought of the idea before they actually committed to doing it. And so since the mod was well received, they ended up deciding to make it a standalone game. That's my assumption as to how that worked out. And I do think it's pretty good. It plays a lot like Insurgency, it's just set during World War II. I think I might have actually said World War I at some point, and if I did, I apologize. But yeah, so I do think it is actually a pretty good game. I will, hopefully, however, because my dad got a new CPU, finally got him to upgrade off of his Athlon X4, I think he's running an Athlon 2X4 955 or something like that. Finally got him to at least upgrade off of that onto an FX 8350, which, while I admit isn't necessarily the greatest CPU in comparison to Intel ones, it is certainly better than his and maybe enough to run this game. And hopefully I'll be able to persuade him to pick it up so that me and him can play it. Honestly, I think he might be interested in the game. It's just going to require him to get a little bit acquainted with controls and, well, that's a first-person shooter. He plays mostly MMOs like WoW and whatnot, so a little bit of effort would have to be put in to get him acquainted with these games, but I do think he would enjoy them, so I'm going to try and do that. So you guys may, a little bit further down the line, see some videos of me and him playing this together. Probably it's going to mostly start out originally with co-op battles, private co-op battles with me and him just versus bots as a method of trying to get acquainted with the controls, but eventually it'll probably expand into actually having player versus player. One thing I do hope that the devs do, though, is add in the option to essentially squad up before a match. Try and make it a little bit easier for friends to play together. I don't think a system like that is currently in place, and so as it stands right now, to play with friends, I think it's a little bit of a pain. But again, I could be wrong. There might be a system in place for that, but I don't think there is. So if there isn't, I hope the devs add in a system like that in the future. But that is going to be it for all I have to say. As I said, I think the game... Alright, pretty sure I said it. If I didn't, I'll say it again. Or if I did, I'll say it again. If I didn't, well, I'm saying it now. I do think the game is actually quite nice. If you enjoy Insurgency and you enjoy World War II, you'll probably enjoy this game as well. It runs on the Source engine. I don't know if the devs have plans to convert it to whatever engine that Insurgency is currently running on. They might. They might not. As I said, I don't know. The game does have some performance issues right now for some people. And I personally did notice a couple of times while playing that the game would lock up for a couple seconds. I'm not sure of the exact specifics as to what causes it, but sometimes it would just lock up for a few seconds, and then it would start playing again. Also, MG34, or MG42, pardon me. Pretty good, even if you don't have it mounted. Granted, pretty much all weapons in this game are one-shot kills except for pistols and LMGs, and the flamethrower. Although, granted, in the case of the flamethrower, you can't really count shots properly because it doesn't fire individual shots. But nonetheless, yeah, as I was saying, this gun's actually really freaking good, if you ask me. Even if you're not mounted, it's pretty good. The recoil is actually not that bad. I also want to note, videos of Day of Infamy will generally speaking include both parts, or all matches of it. So these videos will generally be kind of long. But yeah, so I will see you guys next time. As always, like, favorite, comment, subscribe, share, and I will see you guys next time. But until then, goodbye and farewell.
GG. BJ's.
Der feindliche Angriff kommt in diesem Gebiet gut voran. Wir müssen ihn stoppen. Ladet eure Waffen und sucht euch Verteidigungspositionen. Und Funkgeräte. Wir setzen die Nebelwerfer ein. Deckung! Wird gemeldet, der Feind nimmt Antwort ein. Männer, nachladen! Ich brauche Deckung! Luftgott gemeldet! Der Feind nimmt Antwort ein! Hey, ich lade nach! Feuer getroffen! Scharfschütze! Scharfschütze! Granaten raus! Ich lade nach! Hey! Außen gemeldet! Feinde! Bei Bertha! Scheiße! Hey! Ich lade... Nachricht erhalten! Der Feind steht bei Bertha! Der Feind steht bei Bertha! Gerade nach! Ich werfe eine Nebelgranate! Hey! Außen die Männer! Gib mir Deckung! Ich lade nach! Nachricht erhalten! Der Feind steht bei Bertha! Nachricht erhalten! Der Feind steht bei Bertha! Werfe Handgranate! Achtung! Werfe Handgranate! Achtung! Gib mir feindliche Artillerie! Nachricht erhalten! Der Feind steht bei Bertha! Achtung! Ich schmeiß eine Handgranate! Hey! Außen die Männer! Feinde! Bei Bertha!
Mama.